Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Community Journal. We're here this morning with our good friend Michael Lott.
Nice to see you, Ron.
He's here for his monthly
Yeah.
update, and as usual, it's good to see you, Mike.
Thanks, Ron.
You got a lot on your plate today, but before we start, I missed the Owl Show.
So did
I
everybody
wanted-
else
I saw-
because of the storm.
Oh,
yeah,
it got
it was
canceled?
canceled
Oh,
because of
okay.
the big
I
storm.
never thought of that.
One of a few
That's
storms.
too bad.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. But we hope to have him back next year.
Let's hope there are no more storms for a while.
Right.
I was tired of being cold.
Yeah.
I had to get out and ride around in my car to get warm.
Oh, no, I know. Something else, wasn't it? Yeah.
So what's cooking today?
Well,
You got a number of things, right?
yeah, thanks first for having us and the outstanding volunteers and staff here at the station. It's just a great resource here at the Community Center, Channel 18. I know how hard you all work, so appreciate you having us on.
We're happy to have you.
Harwich Conservation Trust recently partnered again with the Cape and Islands Farm Bureau for another successful Meet Your Local Farmers event. In fact, the 9th annual.
Yeah. Wow.
It's amazing, right?
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it all started right here in the community center 9
Yeah.
years ago. We were in the multi-purpose room, and
Wow.
just over a dozen exhibitors, and it grew and grew in terms of the exhibitors and the public appeal. Now we're in the gym with up to 50 exhibitors, farms and farm supporting organizations. Some of the local farms right here in Harwich, Pleasant Lake Farm, and Cape Farm Supply, Leo and Andrea Cacunas. You can see some cranberries there, an old scoop. We've got Scottish Highland cattle from Seawind Meadows Farm. Even Cape Cod beer came in from Hyannis.
Oh,
We
really?
didn't. There was no alcohol served, but they do brew their beer locally and try and source ingredients as locally as possible. Cape Cod Organic Farm out of Barnstable. I mean, farms from one end of the Cape to the other all came here to the Harwich Community Center. And as an aside, I just want to say the response by folks for the event and the facility, the community center itself, was such a draw. People are very appreciative of this community center and all it has to offer.
We're lucky to have it.
We
that's
are
for
lucky,
sure.
for sure. Gaggle of goats there, and other livestock. There's Seawind Meadows. It was just a lot of fun. So bringing people together. This is a free event. It was open to the public, has been every year since the beginning, and all ages enjoy this event. And it's a great way for people to meet and greet their local farmers, to get to know more about these local farms, the settings in which these farms are situated. We had Edible Landscapes out of Brewster as an aside there. They're going to be leading a presentation about spring garden and annual planning for your vegetable garden and a month-by-month calendar. They're going to lead that presentation right here in the Community Center on Saturday, March 31st at 2 p.m. So that'll be fun. You can find more about that at our website, harwichconservationtrust.org. But we had over 700 folks, again, all ages, visit the Meet Your Local Farmers event last Saturday. We're already looking ahead to 2019, so save the date. March 23rd, 2019, we'll have the 10th annual Meet Your Local Farmers event. I'll give a shout out to AmeriCorps Cape Cod as well. They helped us not only set up the event, they had also an informational table there for folks to get to know more about AmeriCorps, and of course they helped us close down the event at the end of the day.
Good.
A lot of work, but well worth it, a lot of fun. I think people are excited to stretch their legs, shake off the winter cabin fever.
Boy, that's
And get ready for spring. So it was really fun.
That's great, Mike. So you're getting ready to gear up for the herring count.
That's right. That's right. So spring, along with it, brings.
You need a lot of volunteers for that.
That's right. Brings a need
big job.
for more volunteers. More than 60 citizen volunteers make this annual herring count possible. So just a refresher on our river herring, right? They're going to be migrating up local streams across the Cape in the coming weeks as the water temperature warms. There's a map of our local herring river. You can see what an abundant fishery that once was by its namesake for the river itself, the Herring River. So river herring still migrate from Nantucket Sound into Herring River about 7 miles all the way up to West Reservoir, and then continue in the Herring River up to Hinckley's Pond and into Seymour's Pond and Long Pond being the largest freshwater body on the Cape. There's a nice photo by David Constance, one of our wonderful volunteer photographers, showing river herring pooling just before the ladder at the counting site. So these volunteers count these herring. Why are we counting them? Well, recall that several years ago the state issued a moratorium on the taking of river herring because of the precipitous decline in that fishery. And so we're really counting on these volunteers to get an estimate through their counting from April 1st through the end of May, so a 2-month period. That data will then be assimilated with data from other runs across the Cape with our partners, and then distributed to the Division of Marine Fisheries and other policy-making bodies to inform the health of the river herring recovery effort. And hopefully we'll restore an abundant herring run to this ecosystem. There's a nice photo by Janet DiMattia, the slides before that also by Janet DiMattia. That's looking out across the Herring River there near West Reservoir. It's just a beautiful spot just to take a hike. And again, this time of year, especially in the next several weeks, toward the end of April, and certainly into May, you could see the river herring running right there at Johnson Slough at West Reservoir. That's not the counting site, but that is a great spot to witness this spring phenomenon. It's a great time of year. A lot of wildlife movement, including river herring movement.
How many volunteers do you need, Mike?
Over 60 to make this herring count possible, yes. And so our partners, including Heinz Proft, Director of Natural Resources for Town of Harwich, has been terrific. Amy Uzowski, Head of the Town Conservation Department, and APCC, also one of our partners. And it's really made possible by volunteer coordination through one of our office volunteers, Chris Joyce, and our Outreach and Stewardship Coordinator, Tyler Maycath, all putting this this herring count together, as well as AmeriCorps member Emma Forbes, who we share with the Town Conservation Department and even the Chatham Conservation Foundation. So a lot of moving parts to make this herring count possible. It's a great volunteer run event.
Oh, that's great. And you've been very fortunate in the past to get plenty of volunteers.
Right. I mean,
I know some of the people who have volunteered, and I think they'll be back again.
Yes, I mean, there's a wide range of volunteer opportunities, whether it's this herring count, whether it's volunteering for our bird nest monitoring project, up to 80 different nest boxes across 3 conservation sites, whether it's volunteering in the office, whether it's volunteering for other events like the Live Owl program, which hopefully we'll host again next year. And the list goes on. And our talk series taking place right here in the multipurpose room, again, made possible really because of the dedication and the time and energy of volunteers. So volunteers make our conservation world go around, and we thank you. And there are opportunities listed at our website.
You're pretty much all of the daylight hours, right?
During the herring count? Yes, yes. The counters will visit the count site for 10-minute intervals. So we have a schedule. Some of those shifts filled by high school students too, in coordination with history teacher Rich Houston. So he's been a great supporter as well. And then these, of course, just by way of background, these river herring are making their way up the Herring River to those headwater ponds, right, to lay eggs. Then the adults trying to head back downstream, back into the ocean. The fish, or the fry, the young herring, called fry, will end up leaving the system, migrating back down the Herring River in maybe August, September, October. The Town Natural Resources Department has even witnessed them as late as December in some years. Right. Wow, so then they'll head out to the marine environment, to the ocean, where they will mature, and we hope return to this herring spawning system to continue moving the recovery in the right direction.
Were you up on the count last year compared to the year before?
It's too early to tell in terms of identifying any trends. Year to year, we're still in the process of collecting enough data, not only with this run, but runs across the Cape. Still, it is a species in jeopardy because of a number of factors. One of the roles that HCT plays, in addition to organizing this volunteer herring count, is that we help preserve land thanks to community support on these spawning systems, whether it's on the spawning ponds. We've preserved land on Long Pond, on Hinckley's Pond, on Seymour's Pond, also along the Herring River itself, helping to preserve land. That really goes a long way to help protect the habitat that is important not only to river herring, but a wider diversity of species.
Good.
Yes.
So now you want to talk about the Native American History Walk Series.
This has been very popular, this Native American History Walk Series. We're offering it, again, our co-leaders being of Native American heritage, Wampanoag and Nipmuc, as Marcus Hendricks is pictured here, and then also a 12th generation Cape Codder from Chatham, Todd Kelly. So they're a great team. They have a wealth of information and experience and interpretation of the natural world, as well as the life ways of the first people, the Native Americans that first settled in this area. And they compare that to the colonial activity that was taking place and the interactions between Native peoples and the early colonial European settlers. It's a great series. This is a 3-walk series. There is a fee involved, but I think it's well worth it when folks experience the walk and the information that Todd and Marcus share out on the land at 3 different spots. So the first walk will be April 7th. These are on successive Saturdays coming up. April 7th, April 14th, April 21st. First walk being in Harwich, second one being in Brewster, and then the third being in Dennis. Once people register, it's $45 for the series or for 1 walk, no matter what you do. That's what we have to keep to that walk price just to keep the program going. But it's an amazing experience. Once you register, then you receive directions to each walk site. And people can learn more about each walk at our website, harwichconservationtrust.org. We will be also offering a Native American History Walk series in even more towns as a part of 2 different series offered in the fall. But we're focusing on the spring right now. The title of this Native American History Walk series is called Spring Thaw, the first people's journey following the water. And the first walk will again be focused in Harwich, and really talking about the fluid glacial origins of the area and how the water is moving through the Herring River system down into Nantucket Sound, and what the first people, the natives, were doing way back when, several thousand years ago in this area. How were they surviving? What did their lifestyles look like? And it's wonderful hearing from Marcus and Todd all about that.
You're fortunate to have 2 leaders with the backgrounds that they have.
Yes.
Which is wonderful.
It is.
It has to make it so much better for people who go on the walks.
Yes, yeah. And people come back for these series over and over,
I'm
too.
Sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
We'll also be leading some, sponsoring some walks with Todd and Marcus called Native Nightlife Walks. Those will be in the summer, but we can talk about those the next time.
Yeah, good.
Yes.
So, that it for today?
That's it for today, and there's always more events coming up. Again, folks can learn about them at our website, harwichconservationtrust.org. But thank you for having us again.
Well, as always, you have a lot of good programs and a lot of good information.
Yeah.
Nice to have you
it's
again,
nice to
Michael.
see you.
Look forward to seeing you next month.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right.